Attention! There has been an incident at the detention center.
Like this.
Report any unusual strangers to protocol forces immediately. Do you know that person? Citizens of Wyndham, the woods are still off limits. If you need to approach the woods for foraging, request an escort at the village hall.
Why here, of all places? If they'd resolved to do something so awful, why in the church?
Some bugger, pardon my French, wanted to make a scene, sir.
And doom us all in the process. If the captain and his minions find out. Oh, I'm sorry, we're closed today. Please leave. Please, I beg of you. Just forget you saw anything here and go. Please. These are awful times. If news of this gets out, things will get worse, I assure you. Please, tell no one. I know how it seems, but I would not ask such a thing if it weren't for the good of the village. It's vital the military don't learn of this. We'll tidy up, but if the captain and his toy soldiers find out, things will become so much worse here. All I can concern myself with right now is keeping this quiet. I must decide what to do about this before any soldier wanders in. I would suggest you let all this lie too. The matter is best left to the village to handle.
What do you want? I had naught to do with Maisie's death, I swear, in God's name. And neither did the vicar. He's a good man. If this gets back to the soldiers, they'll cart him and me both off to jail. I don't know who. Not us. She probably got on the wrong side of someone on account of her. But you should leave. This is village business, and none of yours. Like I said, this is none of your business, stranger. If you want to play detective, stick to the crime scene. Leave us bystanders alone.
You'll do the right thing, I'm sure. God go with you. What in heaven's name shall we do with you, Maisie?
Slowly now. Come into the light where I can see you. Wait. You're not one of the scientific staff. Who the blazes are you? I know every face on the project, and you're not one of them. How did you know I was down here? You found it in... You mean to say you were inside the interchange? Just how did you get in there? They sealed the place tight. You found one. Just found a key card. I believe you. It's so ludicrous that I searched to no avail. Will you just find one? Too ludicrous to be untrue. The interchange. Open again after all this time. Astonishing. I thought it was sealed for good, and its contents forever out of reach. But look, do you realize what this means? If you have access to the interchange, then we might be able to stop this nightmare before it spreads beyond the wall. You must have seen it. In the interchange. That damned infestation. We first discovered the growth at the Oberon site. I was one of the team assigned to study it. You know, first we thought it was benign. Beneficial even, according to the early results. To our eternal shame, we did. In hindsight, it was too soon. But science moves quickly here. In our experiments, small doses of the growth in a purified form showed the most astonishing effect on cognitive capability. But it was not purified nearly enough as it transpired. Its active agent was much more active than we realized. What it was doing to both our bodies and our minds all the while, it beggars imagination. We thought we held the future in a test tube. But all we had isolated was evil in its purest form. You can see why I must keep myself hidden away down here. Yes, it's under control, but I'll never be entirely free of it. Thanks to this apparatus, I found a way to inoculate myself, halting the infection before it could fully establish itself. If my colleagues had shown more faith in my line of experimentations, well, we wouldn't be where and what we are now. But look, we have so little time. I desperately need your help. I need you to go back to the medical facility, and this time go deeper. All the way down to the quarantine level. Somewhere in there is a sealed cylinder. It's labelled Sample 1. Find it and bring it here to me. Do that, and I can promise answers. Answers and a way out of here. Here's my keycard. It will get you deeper into the medical section. It was the first sample of the growth that was extracted. We took it to the lab to test it. That was a few months before the disaster. It's a pure sample, and that's what makes it so important. Before you go, you should help yourself to a dose of my inoculant. There's one lying around here somewhere. If you ever encounter a thick area of growth, or are suffering from a potent strain of the infection, that stuff will ease the burden. It should give you a better chance of surviving infested areas. And with any luck, it will silence the voices in your head. Best of luck.
Ah, it's you. You did? I see. Yes, it's true. She ran errands for me from time to time. I asked her to keep an eye on certain people. She has had quite a talent for it. But I had no reason to kill her. You must believe me. I have a certain arrangement of sorts with some of the villagers. In a world as terrible as this, with evil in the soil and a military boot on their necks, who can blame those who turn to the church for protection? I offer what I can, in return for a small donation to the church. But it is necessary for me to keep some eyes on them as well, in case they waver. There is a lot of temptation within the zone, and temptation too easily leads to corruption. This is a village matter. I can provide assistance to an outsider such as yourself, but that does not mean I can trust you. The shopkeeper? Good heavens above. I knew something was off about him, but nothing as foul as that. News travels fast here. I'm told Morris will no longer cause us any problems in the village. Thank you for finding some sort of resolution to all this. Look, I would like you to have something. It's a rarity and I'm loath to part with it, but your help has been invaluable. This will open the box upstairs. You'll find your reward there. And in the spirit of reciprocation, if you are in need of my help, you need only ask. I am here if you wish to talk, to unburden your soul. And if you'll forgive me for saying so, you seem troubled. Might I ask why? I don't suppose, well, have you perhaps been hearing voices? Farewell, and God bless you.
Attention! There has been an incident at the detention center. Report any unusual strangers to protocol forces immediately.
Access granted. The interchange.
You? Well now, my liberator approaches. Many thanks to you. My apologies for running off like that, but discretion seemed very much the better part of valor at the time. Me? Well, so many hats, but I suppose I'm primarily known for my work in applied autonomous cybernetics. Which is to say robots. I was head of the department here. Things have certainly changed since I left the site. I never intended to return to so much fuss, and, least of all, a jail cell. They decided to send in another expeditionary convoy. Given my involvement, it wasn't difficult to get a spot. I came in by support helicopter rather than in the lorries, all very exciting. The helicopter came down, however, which was rather more excitement than anticipated. Hardly the ideal way to discover that the measures we'd taken to counteract the interference field didn't work. I must say, I wasn't expecting garlands and adoring crowds to mark my return, but being thrown into jail was a little much. Lucky for me that you popped by. And you have found your way into the interchange too. I am impressed. When quarantine was enacted after the disaster, I wondered if I'd ever see the inside of this facility again. Oberon is at the root of all our troubles here. It's also unwise to ask about it. You've seen a great number of things that are none of your concern already. Really, I should be asking you just how on earth you got inside a secured facility. But since you helped me out of my little bit of trouble, what with the soldiers and the imprisonment and so forth, I shall do you the courtesy of pretending that you are perfectly within your rights to go gallivanting around secret government facilities. In all honesty, I really don't care where you came from. All I care about now is taking care of some business and then getting out of here. I'm sure you do. You don't belong here, do you? Much like myself. Well, perhaps we can help each other. There is something you might be able to assist me with. Very well. A little quid pro quo is in order. Help me, and I shall help you. My research notes are still here in my office, and it is vital I recover them. My office is in the lower level of the robotics section. You'll likely need the signal redirector to bypass the electronic security to get down there. And for heaven's sake, don't touch anything you don't need to. Can you manage that? Oh, good show! Oh, it is such a relief to have these notes back in my possession. Security concerns, you see. Can't have any old Tom, Dick, or Ivan taking these for light reading. I thought I'd warned you about reading classified material. Try to understand, we were pushing back the very boundaries of known science. Britain depends on progress like ours. If she's to compete with the rest of the world, we couldn't afford any delays. Every decision that was made was for the good of the project. Now listen, I have an offer for you. While you were off fetching my notes, I've been trying to extract what data I can from here. Information was buried, almost as well as the site itself when the quarantine was called. Now, I have unearthed some of what I need, but it has become clear that the most sensitive research is elsewhere. Many of those records were kept at an external data store at the Casterfell Dam. Given your success so far, perhaps you are willing to make the trip. There's a positive cornucopia of information there, more than enough to satisfy even your curiosity. Well, what do you say? Listen carefully. Much of our data was stored at the depot site. It should still be accessible if you can get the memory cores operating once more. All the answers your heart desires are there, I assure you. 2 important points, however. Once you're done, you must run a particular command or all your efforts will be wasted. Gen-era. Genera. Note it exactly. Secondly, you must not take anything out of that bunker. I cannot overstate that this is all highly classified. Now, here's the keycard. The bunker is out in Casterfell Woods by the dam. I'll mark it on your map.
Hello? Anyone receiving this? What the blue blazes happened just now? Who declared quarantine?
Dr. Holder.
Dr. Garrow? Is that you? Where are you?
Alan, listen to me.
Diane, where are you? Is this your doing? We're locked in.
There was an explosion. We had to...
Had to what? Where are you, Diane?
I'm on the evacuation convoy. I'm sorry, Alan. There was no time. and on the evacuation convoy. I'm sorry, Alan. There was no time.
No time? We're still in the fail-safe period, Diane. Raise the quarantine level before it's too late.
I can't do that. Oberon must remain secure.
Diane, there's dozens of us still in the lab. Please suspend the quarantine, just for a few minutes.
I can't. I have to think of the many.
Are you quite insane? Wait. Wait. I know why you're doing this.
I'm sorry. I must go, Alan. The interference is too strong already. Good luck.
Diane, don't you dare. Open the bloody doors, damn you. Diane! You can't trap us in here to die. I swear, if you don't...
Time is of the essence. With any luck, sample 1 will still be hidden away in the medical facility. You found the sample? But this is wonderful. For the first time in years, there's hope. A true, viable hope. Those used to be some of the finest minds in the country. Country be damned in the world. My colleagues, trapped there when the laboratory was sealed. Now I need to get to work on this sample. This alien muck has vulnerabilities, but taking advantage of them is difficult. But I can see you're curious and you've earned some answers, should you want them. Is there anything that you want to know? It's an official secret, for all the weight that carries now. Oberon is the code name for the meteorite they found buried here. It was uncovered just after the war, during the evacuation of new slate mine workings. That discovery was the reason they built this whole circus here. I dearly wish it had remained undisturbed. The rock itself contained remarkable minerals, instrumental in the creation of the atomic batteries, and all the other marvels you've no doubt already encountered. But they drilled too deep into Oberon, and, at its core, discovered organic matter. That was sample 1. A team of biologists, myself included, were assigned to analyze it. But the Oberon investigative team drilled too deep. There was some sort of violent and highly energetic feedback that collapsed part of the plant and triggered the quarantine. That was in 1957. It is abominable. Plainly extraterrestrial, voracious and implacable. At first, the top brass was excited by the potential it showed. In small doses, it seemed to accelerate our ability to learn to a remarkable degree. Your mind expanded. As if you had a connection to lost knowledge that you had somehow forgotten and were simply rediscovering it. But then, some of us started to change. We barely had time to start coming to terms with it. The explosion at the Oberon site came just days later. The quarantine was declared, and they trapped us in the lab. They left us for dead. Our own colleagues. You mean, why am I still trapped in the medical section? We didn't know it at the time, but there was a breach towards the back of the lab. Thanks to my experimental inoculation, I was able to resist the infection, to keep my own personality and intellect intact. I escaped through the tunnels under the lab. The only place I could think of to hide was there. When it seemed there was more to this growth than the BARD top brass wanted to admit, some of my colleagues and I decided to set up a very unofficial lab. This is it. It was hard work carting all this gear undetected, but we managed it. The vicar agreed to let us use the crypt for storage years ago, before the disaster. We made a small donation. To the church, you understand. And he didn't ask any questions after that. Now, I need to get to work on turning this sample active but toxic. A biological time bomb, if you will. In the meantime, there's something else you may be able to help me with. In return, I can assure you a route out of here. That's the deal. Sometimes, at night, I go up to the church tower and listen to the sentries chatting down below. I've heard some chatter that suggests my old colleague Dr. Garrow came back into the zone. I hear that Garrow somehow escaped from the soldiers' prison. That was your doing, I presume. Please tell me where she is. I very much need to see her. It's vitally important. She and I worked on the Oberon project. Garrow's a cyberneticist. That's the science of control, if you're unfamiliar with the term. She was over on the technological end of things, leading the development of the robots. A very brilliant woman, and obsessively devoted to her work above all else. When the quarantine was declared, well, she got out, and we didn't. I never thought I'd have the chance to see her again. But it seems she couldn't leave well enough alone and just had to come back. It's vital I see her about something before we can leave. Of course. I might have known. Thank you. I'll finish my work here and then make my way to her.